Hey GM, I cast Oblivion.
Wait, what is that?
It's a spell I made.
Hand it over here, let me see that.
Sure, go ahead.
Wait, so, okay, it's a cantrip, it's a bonus action, it's 300 feet of range. Wait, it does 10d10 force damage.
No GM, that's wrong.
Really? Because that's what it looks like here.
That's only if they save. If they fail, they die instantly.
I'm gonna kill you! Hello and welcome to Grit and Glory, the brand new TTRPG that is ready to upgrade your gaming experience. I have great news. The Kickstarter for Grit and Glory, for this project to be actually, become a reality, it's live right now. It's from the 24th of September until the 24th of October. So go back it ASAP. But, you're here now, you might as well give us a little like, comment and subscribe. Just help appease the YouTube algorithm, grow the channel a little bit so we can get more amazing people like you on board. But that's enough with the very shameful plugging. On with the video. So I'm sure that we have all had on our table, or at least seen online, some really bad homebrew for D&D. I know I certainly have. I've made it myself as well. And the thing is, this is inevitable for most systems. I mean, it's impossible to stop people from trying to sneak through the most overpowered things that could possibly be imagined. But this definitely isn't helped by how D&D runs its system. And it's the reason that they're the most prolific. You have got basically no guides in the entire book for how a player can make homebrew. So realistically, it's no wonder that these people are all wandering around blind, lost in the wild.
Yeah, I'm lost.
But let's say you even can make your own spell, homebrew it, and somehow get it balanced. Then what? Sure, maybe the GM's agreed to put it in the game, but you can't learn it. You can't add it to your list. It's limited until you level up, or maybe you'll be allowed to replace one of the other spells you already had with it. It's really crap, and it kind of just discourages people from creating their own spells to begin with. But in Grit and Glory, it's different. We not only have guides for you and the GM on how to create and balance the spells, but we actually have a system for how your character can forge these in the game world. Which means that you can actually make this part of the story, part of the gameplay, make it part of your character, who they are, a journey, a quest, rather than just having to shoehorn it in at the sides and hope that nobody notices. But how do you actually do this? Well, before I can get into that, I'm going to have to explain a slight difference between D&D spells and Grit and Glory spells. If you want a video that goes in depth on this exact topic, check out that one right here. In D&D, a spell has a very specific list, a level, a type, a action, bonus action, range, and what exactly the spell does is a description that is mandated for you. Whereas in Grit and Glory, spells are much more versatile. You have a base spell, but it can be changed with different enhancements to completely vary the use and the ways that you would cast it and all of these kinds of attributes. So when you are deciding to create and forge a new spell, the first thing you need to do is pick what you want it to do and what you want it to be able to do.
Make the plan, execute the plan. That's the whole plan.
So to help you out with this, we have made lists for every single type of ability and bonus that can be added to a spell and given them point values. You can obviously create your own and decide the point values with the GM, but this is a pretty inducive list and there's not much that's going to be outside of it. But this means that you can pick and choose what you want from that list to be in the spell. And you get a rough point value for how difficult that spell is going to be to create. Obviously, more complex and more powerful spells are far more difficult and will take a lot longer to actually make and forge in the game. Once you have decided on what you want in your spell and what you want it to be able to do, then your character, not you, begins spell creation. There are 3 steps to this, which I will show off in this YouTuber-friendly numbered list. Number 1. The first step is your character learning about the magic itself, what source they're going to use for it, how they're going to bend it to its will, and what ways they need to manipulate it to get their desired results. This can be through reading old tomes or speaking to wise mages. However you and your GM decide is up to you. But the important part is that this is a very big time investment, and it's a way for your character to actually grow throughout the process. But don't worry, this isn't just going to be a big GM fiat thing. We actually have tables for how long things should last, depending on how complicated the spell is going to be, and other ways to help you out with managing it. The second step is something I don't think you have seen coming, and that is to kill a legendary creature. See, in D&D, a legendary creature is just a mechanically different thing. It's no in-world explanation, it's just a label they slap onto bosses so they don't get destroyed by the action economy. But in Grit and Glory, legendary creatures are very different in the way they play, and you can see an entire video breaking that down right here. But in Grit and Glory, it's not just a mechanical difference. These creatures, these legendary beings, have an in-world difference. They are inherently magical and powerful. That's what sets them apart. They are going to have power in their very being, in their very essence. And that is precisely what you need to craft the spells. So, once you kill the legendary creature, you need to harvest its essence. Hello, me again. So if you want to know about harvesting, we have a video about that right here. Now, which legendary creature that you kill is actually very important because different types of spells require different types of legendary essences. Now, technically, this entire step is optional. You can try to craft it without a legendary essence, but I would highly advise against that, and you're going to see why. In all honesty, I'd advise you don't stop at collecting just one. Number 3, the forging. Now, this is the final step in the process, and it is done in multiple parts, which I will show off in this numbered... No, can't do that. Already doing a numbered list. What do I do? I don't know. What do I do?
Starting with, that's right, another numbered list. Oh, wait, that's confusing. Can't use numbers again. Number A.
Thank you, Pointy Hat, for that ingenious idea. Number A. At the beginning of the forging, you declare which essences will be used throughout the forge. And this is a very important decision because you cannot add any more later on, but every one that you add will be consumed, regardless of if you used it or not. Number B, attuning. This is where you line your soul up with the magic, the very power, the source that you're trying to draw this spell from, similar to when you attune to a magical item. Number C, stabilizing. Once you've found the magic and the source, how you're going to actually create the spell, you need to take that wild, arcane, the chaos, the entropy that is magic, and stabilize it into something moldable, something that you can actually use. Failing this step is very, very bad because that means that your spell is going to be a lot more volatile. Number D, molding. This is where you take that stable energy, that essence that you have created, and you actually take it and mold it to what you want the spell to specifically do. Okay, so that's it. That's the whole process done. But I bet you're thinking, where did the essences come in? Well, that is where the grit part of Grit and Glory comes in. Failure. Failing any of the checks throughout the spellcrafting process doesn't just result in a small little change, it actually completely destroys the spell. The caster will then explode in a massive arcane energy, forcing themselves and every single other person within a radius to roll on the devastating magical tribute table, possibly multiple times depending on the complexity of the spell. But this is where the essences come in. When a spell fails, and this massive failure is going to happen, you can instead choose to consume an essence. once. This will stop that massive failure from happening. Instead, there will only be a small minor thing, depending on when you fail. This could be that the spell costs more mana, has a higher volatility, or maybe doesn't do exactly what you planned, but it's still going to be along the right lines. Stronger essences means that the amount of failure and the punishment is lesser, and they can provide more bonuses in other ways. So if you begin a spellcast without enough essences to get you through it, you might really regret it. Because if the spell does fail and you have no essences left, or you didn't bring any to start with, there is only one other way to keep that crafting going, and that is to sacrifice your own essence. This means that you would reduce your soul stat, one of the 3 core stats of the game, by 1 permanently. But there is another way to consume essences, and this is before you make a check. You can use an essence to provide a bonus to your roll. Obviously, stronger essences provide stronger bonuses. And this is obviously really tempting, but it does mean you can no longer consume that essence if you do fail. So it is still a massive risk. And all of this is just put together to make such a dynamic and fun spellcrafting system. It means that you can go on amazing quests and collect these powerful essences with that goal in mind. And I can imagine the moment you actually begin the ritual being so tense as your party hangs on the edge of a cliff with every roll, seeing the essences you collected slowly get whittled down and down, remembering the fights that you actually had to take in order to collect them. And eventually, when that spell is successful, or if it does fail, that release of tension, that excitement will be so memorable, it's something you'll know for the rest of the campaign. So, the next time you're on D&D Beyond and you're flipping through the different pages to try and make some kind of balanced spell without breaking the game, maybe you'll think to yourself, it's time to play Grit and Glory. I hope you enjoyed that video in all of its nerdy glory, but now is time to talk about the Kickstarter. It is really important, I can't stress this enough. As much work as me and the team have put into this game, it simply cannot become a reality without the backing of people like you. So, if you can go and check it out in the description below, that would actually help us with getting these books printed and getting them shipped out to tables like yourself. In the meantime though, once you've finished all of that and given all of your money to us, you might as well check out some of these 2 videos here.